Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're cracking open the numbers on something you might think is pretty simple.
Potato chips.
Exactly, potato chips and crisps. But, turns out it's this global economic powerhouse.
It really is.
So our mission, like always, is to take a real deep dive into the latest market intelligence. We want to pull out the most important nuggets of knowledge about this surprisingly dynamic industry.
And what's truly fascinating here, I think, is just how significant this market is and how consistently it's growing.
Yeah.
It's really far more than just, a casual snack. It's a major player on the global economic stage, shows a kind of resilience, a universal appeal. It might genuinely surprise you.
You're not kidding. Let's start with the big picture then, because the scale is frankly staggering.
Okay.
The overall global potato chips and crisp market, it was already nearing, $28 billion back in 2021?
Almost 28 billion, wow.
But here's where it gets really interesting. It's on track to pretty much double that by 2033.
Double.
Yeah, heading towards a colossal $51 billion.
Whoa, 51 billion.
Okay. That's a consistent compound annual growth rate, the AGR of over 5% year after year. Solid.
Those numbers aren't just big, though. They really tell a story, don't they, about how global lifestyles are evolving.
How so?
Well, think about it. More people working from home, maybe? More meals on the go? Even just, binge watching your favorite show? All these little shifts, these micro shifts, they add up. They contribute to this sustained kind of fundamental demand for convenient, satisfying snacks. It's not just that people love chips, it's how they fit into our lives now. Our increasingly busy, digitized lives, they become sort of an essential part of daily consumption patterns.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
Absolutely. And when we zoom in on who's driving all this, one region really dominates the scene.
North America.
North America, yeah. It's the undisputed powerhouse of potato chip consumption.
Right.
This region alone, get this, it accounted for over $10 billion in 2021.
10 million just there.
And it's projected to reach an eye-watering $17.7 billion by 2033. That's still growing at nearly 5%. Solid growth.
Okay.
Now, within North America, the U.S. is naturally the giant,
Yeah.
expected to add billions more to its sales.
Right.
But don't sleep on Canada. The market is actually pacing ahead in terms of growth rate, set to essentially double by 2033.
Interesting.
Doubling.
Yeah.
And Mexico, also showing incredibly strong performance, growing to nearly $1.5 billion in that same period.
So what makes North America so dominant then?
Good question.
Well, I think it comes down to a few things. You've got these deeply established consumer habits, right? Snacking culture is huge.
Definitely.
Then there are the massive marketing budgets from the big players and just a highly developed retail infrastructure. Chips are available absolutely everywhere.
Gas stations, supermarkets.
Exactly. And each country contributes uniquely. You have the sheer volume of the U.S. market. Canada has really robust per capita consumption. And Mexico, well, you've got a growing middle class there and evolving snack preferences. It all feeds into this powerhouse status. It's a market that's, deeply embedded in the culture.
That makes sense given their snack culture. But is there any sign of saturation in a market that mature? Or are they really just set to keep growing like this?
That's a great question. And, well, while the numbers are massive, the drivers we just talked about, they're so entrenched. Plus, you have constant innovation, new flavors, different formats, healthier options, quotes around healthier maybe.
Baked, less salt.
Exactly.
Okay.
That continues to fuel growth. So, yes, it's a mature market, but it's also incredibly adaptable. It consistently finds new ways to appeal to consumers.
Okay, interesting. All right, let's shift gears then. Let's talk about Europe. Because while North America is this colossal engine, Europe presents a really fascinating contrast. It feels like a market defined more by unique local tastes, maybe, a different kind of growth story.
That's a good way to put it.
Their market was over $6 billion back in 2021, and it's expected to reach over $10.5 billion by 2033. So still strong growth, a consistent rate just under 5%.
Still very significant growth, yeah.
And if we dive into some specific European nations, Germany is showing particularly robust growth, actually one of the highest growth rates in the region, set to almost double its market.
Wow, Germany, okay.
The UK isn't far behind, consistently adding significant revenue. Same for France and Italy, both are on track to surpass $1 billion each.
Right.
Even Russia is steadily expanding, heading towards $500 million by 2033.
Yeah.
And then you've got countries like Spain, Sweden, Denmark, Switzerland. They're all contributing meaningfully to that overall European total.
Yeah, the European market, while growing consistently, it really thrives on, I'd say, fragmentation.
Fragmentation.
Yeah, you have this huge variety of local tastes and preferences, and that actually drives innovation in a different way.
Oh, okay.
Its growth drivers are often tied to responding to very diverse consumer demands across different countries. Think regional flavors, maybe a stronger emphasis on sustainability or unique local ingredients.
So less about sheer volume.
Perhaps. So while North America's dominance comes from that sheer scale, Europe's growth feels more about adaptability, customization, maybe tapping into diverse niche markets.
Okay, that makes sense. So if North America is the established powerhouse and Europe is expanding steadily through its unique niches,
Then Asia Pacific.
then Asia Pacific is definitely the dynamic accelerator.
Hmm.
Yeah, this region is truly remarkable.
The growth rate there is something else.
It really is. From over $7 billion in 2021, it's set to almost double again to nearly $15 billion by 2033. That's an incredible growth rate of over 6%.
Over 6% CAGR, that's flying.
It is. And within APAC, the numbers are truly eye-popping. China leads the way. Strong growth rate over 6%, projected to hit nearly $5 billion by 2033.
Almost $5 billion in China alone.
But India, listen to this. India stands out with the highest growth rate in the entire report.
Higher than 6%.
Nearly 7%. A CAGR of 6.927%. It's going from just over $1 billion in 2021 to $2.4 billion by 2033.
Wow. That's explosive.
Isn't it? And Japan, South Korea, Australia, they're also major players, each contributing billions to this rapidly expanding market.
Right.
And you should definitely keep an eye on the emerging APAC markets too. Singapore, Southeast Asia as a whole, Taiwan, they're all showing impressive growth rates, well over 5%, some over 6%.
So why is Asia Pacific growing so fast?
Yeah, what's behind that?
Well, it's several critical factors converging, I think. You've got a booming middle class, first off, with increasing disposable income.
Right.
Then there's rapid urbanization happening across the region, and a strong embrace, maybe, of Western-style snacks and convenience foods.
Right.
What makes it so dynamic is the sheer scale of the populations. Combine that with a willingness, it seems, to experiment with new products, new flavors. And India's particular acceleration that just highlights a massive market that was perhaps underserved before, and now it's rapidly integrating packaged snacks into daily life. It's truly explosive growth, like you said.
It really is. It's clear, though, isn't it, that the love for potato chips spans continents.
Absolutely.
And that global appeal is reflected in this consistent expansion,
Yeah.
even in regions we might not immediately think of first. Like, let's not forget the significant growth coming from South America, the Middle East, and Africa.
Right. They're important parts of the picture, too.
Definitely. In South America, the total market is set to rise from just under $1.8 billion in 2021 to over $3.4 billion by 2033. Still maintaining a strong growth rate over 5.5%.
So over 5%.
Yeah. Brazil's the largest contributor there, projected to reach over $1.3 billion. But Argentina is another strong performer, growth rate over 6%, growing to over $630 million. And, Colombia, Peru, Chile, they're also contributing meaningfully.
Okay, so strong growth across South America.
Yep. And the Middle East. Also seeing significant expansion, its market is climbing from just over $1.3 billion to over $2.5 billion by 2033.
Another doubling almost.
Pretty much. Saudi Arabia will expand to nearly $700 million. Turkey reaches almost $500 million. And the UAE actually showing a particularly strong growth rate, over 6% again, climbing to over $450 million.
The UAE, too. Interesting.
And finally, Africa. The market there is projected to grow from just over $1.1 billion in 2021 to over $2.1 billion by 2033.
Okay.
Nigeria and South Africa are among the continent's fastest growing subregions here. South Africa alone is projected to hit over $860 million.
Right. So when you synthesize the trends across all these really diverse regions, what do you see?
Yeah, what's the common thread?
Well, I think it comes back to increasing urbanization and changing lifestyles. Those seem to be driving demand for convenient, ready-to-eat snacks pretty much everywhere.
Right, the convenience factor again.
Exactly. And while each region definitely has its unique cultural nuances, influencing flavor preferences and things like that.
Sure, spicy flavors here, cheesy there.
Right. But the overall appeal of a crunchy, satisfying snack seems almost universal. And the growth isn't just about population increase either. It's about these shifting dietary habits and just increased access to packaged goods, even in markets that were historically less developed.
Hmm.
It makes you think, doesn't it, about how something as, well, as simple as a bag of chips kind of connects us globally.
It really does.
Yeah.
So what does this all mean then? We've crunched a lot of numbers here. Billions in North America, dynamic growth in Asia Pacific, steady rise pretty much everywhere else.
Yeah.
It really drives home the point that the potato chips and crisps market is not just some casual snack sector you don't think about.
Not at all.
It's a massive, significant, and incredibly dynamic global industry. Touches every corner of the globe. I might be single-handedly responsible for a good chunk of that North American number, to be honest.
Well, exactly. You've got this, let's call it a deep-rooted love for the product, right?
Yeah.
And that combines with these powerful economic factors we've discussed: rising disposable incomes, evolving consumer habits, continuous product innovation. It all drives this consistent, widespread growth. What's truly striking, I think, is how this market really exemplifies the snackification of global diets, moving beyond just traditional meal times.
Snackification, I like that.
It's not just a trend. It feels like a fundamental shift in how people consume food. And that has significant implications, right, for agriculture, for food processing, even for our daily routines. It's just a prime example of how even seemingly simple consumer goods can actually represent huge economic engines.
So the next time you open a bag of chips, maybe you pause for a second. Consider the multi-billion-dollar, globally interconnected economic power you're literally holding in your hands. It's not just about a satisfying crunch. It's a dynamic industry on a really impressive upward trajectory.
Absolutely. And that leads to an important question, perhaps for you, the listener, to consider.
Okay.
Given these really consistent growth trends, these regional demand surges, across such a universally liked product, what might this imply about the future of global snack food industries as a whole?
Good question.
And maybe how might these huge numbers influence global food production or even broader consumer trends in the coming years? Something to chew on.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're embarking on a fascinating exploration into something that likely sits in your pantry right now, a truly ubiquitous item. The humble potato chip.
Ah, the potato chip. Hard to avoid.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're doing a deep dive into the global market for potato chips and crisps. Our insights today are largely drawn from a really comprehensive market research analysis, Chips with a Crunch, the global potato snack market.
Right.
So our mission really is to extract the critical drivers, maybe some surprising restraints, and the truly transformative future trends shaping this, well, surprisingly dynamic snack category. Even for those of you who track consumer packaged goods closely, there are some subtle yet powerful forces at play in a market we often, take for granted.
Absolutely. And what's truly fascinating here is how something so seemingly simple, a common snack found in nearly every corner of the world, actually reveals profound layers of complexity when you look at its market dynamics. This deep dive will uncover how understanding this market isn't just about what tastes good. It's intricately linked to evolving consumer behavior, highly sophisticated logistics, relentless innovation, and even, well, significant global challenges.
Okay.
Get ready for some aha moments, I think, about how this familiar everyday item is undergoing a pretty profound transformation.
Given that broad landscape, it really begs the question, what specific forces are propelling this market forward, making something so simple, so incredibly dynamic? Let's start with the fundamental driver, the escalating demand for convenient and ready-to-eat snacks.
Yeah, that seems obvious on the surface.
It seems almost too obvious that chips are convenient. But looking at the analysis from Chips with a Crunch, what's the underlying consumer psychology that makes them the perfect grab-and-go option, beyond just, portability?
Well, the real genius, as Chips with a Crunch points out, isn't just that chips are convenient, it's how their packaging and portioning have evolved to perfectly match the kind of fragmented attention span of the modern consumer. In today's fast-paced world where you're constantly on the move juggling work, travel, personal life, that lifestyle creates a craving for accessible, shelf-stable options that deliver, Well, instant satisfaction.
Right, right.
Chips have become the ultimate micro-moment snack, a go-to for everyone, from students rushing to class to urban commuters on their way home, working professionals fitting in a quick bite. It's a clear shift where snacking is becoming less about just indulgence and more about pure practicality.
And tying directly into that incredible convenience, what about the actual physical reach? How has the distribution network itself become such a critical catalyst for growth?
Oh, that's huge. The robust distribution network that global and local brands have meticulously built is a massive part of it. This analysis details how chips are literally everywhere.
Yeah.
You find them on every supermarket shelf, in every convenience store, in vending machines, and now increasingly on online grocery platforms, too.
So omni-channel is key.
Exactly. This isn't just about putting product on a shelf. It's about sophisticated omni-channel accessibility. And when you combine this widespread availability with smart marketing, think celebrity endorsements, those compelling influencer tie-ins you see everywhere, and aggressive in-store promotions, it's clear this strategy is pushing the category to new heights, even reaching into rural or previously underserved markets where maybe traditional snack access might have been limited.
Beyond those fundamentals, chips with a crunch suggests the real battleground for market share might actually be in the sensory experience itself. So what's happening on the flavor innovation and packaging design front that's really keeping consumers hooked?
It's fascinating, actually. Brands are definitely thinking way beyond just classic salted and barbecue flavors now.
Yeah.
Today's shelves are bursting with options like regional spices that tap into local preferences, complex cheesy infusions, even global fusion flavors that pull from cuisines worldwide. This isn't just throwing new spices in a bag. It's about creating an experience and catering to an increasingly adventurous palate.
Right, the experience factor.
And it's not just the flavor inside. The package outside is equally crucial. We're seeing innovations like resealable bags for extended freshness, increasingly eco-conscious materials, or visually striking designs that really grab your attention
They really do.
and drive repeat purchases in what is, let's face it, a very crowded and competitive market.
It sounds like a strong growth story overall, but the analysis from Chips with a Crunch doesn't paint an entirely rosy picture, does it?
No, definitely not. There are headwinds.
What are some of the unexpected friction points holding this market back? Let's start with the big one. Health concerns and the ongoing conversation around obesity. That seems like a direct challenge to the very nature of traditional chips.
It absolutely is. There's growing consumer awareness about the dangers of, excessive salt, fat, and calorie intake in traditional chips. It's undeniable. This is leading many health-conscious consumers to either cut back significantly or even eliminate traditional chips from their diets entirely. This isn't just a trend. It's a fundamental tension.
So how does the industry respond?
Well, the industry's push for healthier ingredients, while laudable, often pits them directly against the same volatile agricultural supply chains as traditional chips. That creates a sort of hidden cost barrier for true innovation in this space.
Ah, okay.
This shift is prompting manufacturers to seriously rethink their formulations and explore lighter, more nutrient-rich alternatives, which brings its own set of challenges, of course.
And on that note of costs, the analysis highlights increasing raw material and production expenses.
Oh,
How does this volatility specifically impact an industry so reliant on staple ingredients like potatoes and oil?
It's a significant restraint, no question. The analysis elaborates on the volatility of potato prices, which can fluctuate wildly due to weather or, supply chain disruptions,
Right.
as well as spikes in the cost of cooking oil and packaging materials. Then you add rising energy and labor costs on top of that.
It all adds up.
Exactly. The overall expense of producing potato chips is steadily climbing. And this presents a particular challenge for, say, the smaller manufacturers who simply can't offset these costs as easily as the larger players with economies of scale.
So what's the outcome?
The result is either slimmer profit margins, which is tough, or, more likely, higher retail prices for you, the consumer. And both of those can really stall market expansion and make it harder to compete.
And let's not forget the environmental impact. This seems like an especially big one today, given the focus on sustainability for a product so often associated with single-use packaging. What challenges does this present?
You're right, it's a critical point. The analysis discusses how most chip packaging relies heavily on plastic, contributing significantly to the ongoing crisis of single-use waste. We all see it. The real hurdle here is implementing truly eco-friendly packaging without compromising the product's freshness or, crucially, its affordability. It's a complex engineering and cost challenge.
A balancing act.
Definitely. And brands failing to innovate here may well face increasing criticism from environmentally conscious consumers and potentially even from regulators down the line. It's a reputational risk as much as an operational one.
So given these significant challenges, what we found from Chips with a Crunch is how the industry is rapidly adapting and evolving. It's not standing still. What's standing out in terms of future trends, particularly that shift towards healthier snack options?
What's fascinating here is how the industry isn't just reacting defensively, it's actively transforming. Consumers are clearly demanding more from their snacks now. Less fat, fewer artificial ingredients, more genuine nutritional value.
Yeah, the demands are changing.
As a result, we're seeing a surge in baked, air-fried, and low-sodium alternatives. But it's not just about how they're cooked. The very ingredient bases are evolving, moving beyond the potato.
Oh, interesting. Like what?
Think new options like sweet potatoes, kale, quinoa, even beets now being turned into chips. You see them everywhere.
I have seen those.
This strategic evolution helps brands attract entirely new customer segments without, alienating their traditional chip lovers. It's essentially expanding the definition of what a chip even is.
That's a remarkable evolution for such a simple snack, isn't it?
Yeah.
And beyond health, what about the trend towards premiumization? Is there truly a market for gourmet chips?
Oh, absolutely. The analysis from Chips with a Crunch talks about a significant wave of premium and artisanal chips entering the market. And these definitely aren't your average snacks.
Right. Yeah.
We're talking about gourmet offerings infused with things like truffle oil, seasoned with exotic Himalayan salt, or featuring unique kettle-cooked textures that deliver a more substantial bite.
Sounds fancy.
It is. Plus, brands are launching limited edition flavors that create a sense of exclusivity and urgency. Get it while you can. These gourmet chips really appeal to a discerning audience that values quality, unique flavors and is very much willing to pay a little extra for a differentiated and, elevated snacking experience. It's a perfect example of premiumization, taking a mass market product and elevating its perceived value.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, the expansion of digital marketing and e-commerce seems like it's transforming how brands not just sell, but also understand their consumers.
Yeah.
How is that playing out in the chip market?
It's a total game changer. Snack brands are now meeting consumers precisely where they are online, whether that's on their social media feeds, through strategic influencer partnerships,
Everywhere you look.
or via highly personalized email campaigns. We're also seeing the rise of direct-to-consumer models, curated subscription snack boxes, and incredibly targeted ads.
So much more direct engagement.
Exactly. This allows brands to engage deeply with consumers, build brand loyalty, and, crucially, collect insights about their preferences and behaviors that were simply unimaginable just a decade ago. It's moving beyond just selling a product to truly understanding and anticipating consumer desires on a really granular level.
Well, we just took quite a journey through the world of potato chips, didn't we? It's clear from our deep dive into Chips with a Crunch that this market is undergoing a truly significant transformation.
It really is.
It's driven by evolving consumer behavior, it's challenged by pressing health and sustainability demands, and continually elevated by technology and innovation. It makes you look at that bag of chips a little differently, doesn't it?
It absolutely does, and that's the real takeaway here, I think. This deep dive shows us that even seemingly simple everyday products, like a bag of chips, are in fact complex ecosystems. You've got intricate supply chains, ever-changing consumer desires, technological innovation, and broad societal shifts all wrapped up in there. This makes them a surprisingly valuable lens through which to understand the dynamics of global markets.
That's a great point.
So the next time you're picking up an item from the grocery store shelf, maybe just pause for a second. I encourage you to consider what other everyday items might be undergoing similar fascinating transformations just beneath the surface.